And it is amazing in a league that's all about youth movement, what Tampa Bay has done.
No team before the Bucs last night had ever won, finishing -3 in turnover margin, committing more than 100 yards in penalties, and allowing 450 yards plus of total offense. But, of course, Tom Brady doesn't.
It's not a recipe for success.
No.
Right?
No team's ever going to win again doing that either, probably.
And the comeback shows that the Buccaneers are to be reckoned with yet again. I mean, because they can withstand that. Look, there's a lot of talk today about Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott and how good Dallas looked. Keep in mind that last night, Dallas allowed 6.3 yards per play. If you compare that to last season, that would be the worst in the NFL for any game last season. So let's not get too carried away with what Dallas or Tampa did last night. But we will dissect this game and say it was a quality game. 22 million viewers last night for NBC. That's up 29% from a year ago, where the crowd didn't matter. This was about the best game going on. And last year it was 51-31 the final score. Opposite fourth quarter this go around with Brady and the Bucs pulling the comeback at the end.
Most impressive thing to me about this game, it's always going to be Brady's longevity and the fact that he remains great after all this time. But I think for this individual game, I come away most impressed with Dak Prescott and him going over 400 yards, coming back from that injury. He looked like, guys, he didn't miss a beat. That was the pre-injury Dak Prescott. There was no real rust in that game. He looked good running it when he had to. He was great taking hits and putting the ball on the money. There was an interception where I thought CeeDee Lamb alligator-armed it a little bit.
He did.
That he put on the money to him right in between three guys. It looked like a throw you shouldn't make.
Through his hands.
But it was perfect.
Through his hands that were kind of pulled back. The one thing I took, really, the rushing game was there was a great soccer commentator. I can't remember if it was in Europe or it was in the prime of the NASL in Nashville, in the United States, who said of a guy's left foot, it was purely ornamental. The running game last night was purely ornamental. Long on one side of 7, long on the other side of 13, 14 carries, 18 carries, 3.7 yards per carry, 3.3 yards per carry, and a lot of the handoffs were just to attempt to balance things out, but there were over 100 pass attempts, and it was all about the two quarterbacks and the passing game. The running games were irrelevant and just for show. Stop handing it off altogether. There was no purpose to it.
Well, I think we both know it's not just going to be for show with Ezekiel Elliott and Dallas, but I mean, last night it was just flat. It was just on both sides.
And good run defenses.
Look, and I think it also shows that wide receiver depth in this version of the NFL is critical. And top to bottom. We discuss a lot of depth on the defensive side or on the offensive line. Wide receiver depth, when you watch the game, it's amazing. Paul's right, how pass-heavy both teams were. 8 different players caught a pass for Dallas. 6 different players caught a pass for Tampa Bay, and that's with a very flat run game where both teams were trying to hold on to their leads.
And so we'll go there. This was my biggest next level takeaway, the wide receiver depth, obviously. So then it's the nickel depth. And Anthony Brown, number 30, on 2 of the passes to Antonio Brown, struggled. On the first big catch, he got lost. On the touchdown where Antonio Brown put his hand up like, hey, come here, he was way behind. And then on the other catch over the middle, he turned around Jordan Lewis, who he was in motion before the play to quarterback's left, and he wheeled around and was way lost on it. So the third receiver is going to be key. The third cornerback then is automatically key. Dallas couldn't keep up with him last night. They canceled out Mike Evans very nicely. Godwin, big contributor. Antonio Brown, the biggest contributor, and they couldn't keep up with him. They didn't have the cornerback depth to match.
33-year-old Antonio Brown looked terrific in peak performance. And it is amazing in a league that's all about youth movement, what Tampa Bay has done.
Gronk was terrific.
Gronk,
Now,
and
can
Brady,
he sustain himself for 17 games is the question about Gronk, right? You get all you can out of him as long as you can get it out of him.
Yeah, but I mean, they deserve a ton of credit for getting the most out of some vets when no one else. I mean, everyone's selling. Tampa was buying because Brady wanted them. And now you see what happened. It made me think of Randall Cobb in Green Bay.
Now, two vets,
and what
one,
Antonio
Leonard
Brown's
Fournette.
doing. Can Randall Cobb, not the same dynamic player with some of the plays that Antonio Brown was making last night, but are we going to see Randall Cobb have a type of performance for Aaron Rodgers on Sunday against New Orleans like we saw for Antonio Brown last night for Tampa?
They didn't get anything out of Leonard Fournette, really, another veteran.
Right, yeah.
And Ronald Jones isn't that old, but when does he stop making bonehead plays that land him on the bench for the remainder of the game?
Well, as someone who drafted Mike Evans, I was very concerned with the options for Tampa.
Too many.
That
Get
Antonio
back to
Brown
that
and Gronk were the two big targets
And
in the game.
Godwin was great.
Godwin had a good game. Also had a bad fumble there
You have him
late
as well.
that opened the door for Dallas. But other than that, was very good.
But that catch that set up the game-winning field goal by Godwin was
Terrific.
I just don't. It defies logic to me, though, how Tom Brady's arm gets stronger. I mean,
And his release is faster. They showed that.
There were times, at the end in New England where you thought, okay, he's a guy who just has to get rid of the ball really quick now. That's just who he is. He can still be effective, but he gets spooked quickly, and he's going to throw the ball away quickly, and he's still good about getting rid of the ball. But there were some throws that he made that I just marveled at. Even the one that he completed to Gronk where he's on the ground. I mean, he is horizontal to
That's
the
all
ground
on.
throwing it. And it looked like a terrible decision, and Gronk bails him out and makes a play. It's amazing. Two of our favorite listener viewers over the years had a funny exchange about Tom Brady. V-Love, I saw on Twitter, this had me howling, these tweets, said that he thought Brady used up all of his HGH for the season on that one chuck to the end zone at the end of the half, which I thought was great. Lebowski responded and said, whatever endangered species of bird that he's eating right now to do this, he's going to have to really eat a bunch of those at halftime. And then I sent him a text, and he sends one back and says he probably has 6 dodo birds, the only ones that are left that no one knows about, and he ate the heart of one at halftime.
He has them cloned.
It's funny because with Brady, it could be true. I mean, who knows what this guy is doing to be able to do this at 44 years old? And it's just funny when you watch a Brady game in a spotlight like this where everyone is watching that game last night and commenting on Brady, and you see people of national renown saying things like, this guy's going to be quarterback, and when he's 60, isn't he? It's going to happen.
It's really hard
it's
not
gonna
to
be a
watch
thing.
him, Chad, and think this guy can play for 3 more years. I think that at the start of every year when he has a performance like this, even though we had a topic 2 months ago that said he's going to play till he's 45. So, I mean, it's nuts. And at 44, he just delivered his 49th game-winning drive of his career.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified every time Outkick 360 goes live. We are live weekdays, 11 a.m. Central, noon Eastern, right here across the Outkick network. And while you're at it, like this video and let us know what you think in the comments below.